I wish I could have tuned out WWF Survivor Series 1993, November 24th, 93, Season 7, Episode 1. So the quick review of this, I was dog sitting for Shawn the other day. I was watching this show, and Shawn came over in the middle and said, "How's the show?" And I said, "It blows." Now here's the key. I said this before we got to the 4 Doinks match.
Don't even tell me you like this match.
Hell no!
Okay.
This show sucks.
It's pretty bad.
Like Bash 91.
Who made us watch this? Probably the same.
I forget. Like, you talk about Bash 91 and just December to Dismember, it's like all-time stinker pay-per-views. Nobody ever mentioned Survivor Series 93. It's a sleeper, man, on the terrible pay-per-view list. Starts with a cozy home video shot in the Luger family living room. There's Lex, his wife
What
Peggy,
was this?
his children,
God.
Brian and Lauren. They want to wish us all a happy Thanksgiving. If you watch this, young Brian Luger looks to be about 10 years old, 9 or 10 years old, and wishing he was anywhere else. And they probably had to shoot this 6 times so he would not stop making faces. He's if you ever saw the Family Dog on Amazing Stories, he's that kid.
There's also this moment when Lex Luger's talking and his wife starts talking, but she started too early, thus interrupting the end of Lex Luger's word. And he gives her this death stare. Like, I don't want to do this one more time. It is awful.
It was awkward. It was very awkward. Randomly, here's some guy singing the Star-Spangled Banner. And I guess there was the All-Americans match in the show, but they could have done this. I would have done this before the All-Americans match if I was going to do this. So your hosts are Vince McMahon and Bobby Heenan. Opening match, Razor Ramon and the 1-2-3 Kid and Marty Jannetty and Mr. Perfect versus Diesel and IRS and Adam Bomb and Rick Martel. Razor announces for everyone that Perfecto, as he calls him, talking about, of course, your ancestor, Brian.
Yes.
Perfecto is such a great tag team wrestler. He tagged out before the match even started, and his place is being taken by the Macho Man Randy Savage.
Yeah, we never see Mr. Perfect wrestle in WWE ever again.
He's in like 04. He came back for a random Royal Rumble.
He comes back, but
He's never a full-time guy.
Yeah.
Yeah. He goes to, disappears for a while, shows up on Nitro, and there you go. So the most interesting thing I had just watching this is that Rick Martel and Mike Rotundo are like 1980s tag team dream competitors who never did anything together as far as I can tell outside of this one match. But you had the U.S. Express and the Varsity Club and Mike Rotundo. You had the Can-Am Connection and Strike Force with Rick Martel, and their paths just never crossed except this random Survivor Series thing. So they're doing this match.
wow,
Yeah, I was impressed.
I was not. No. I watched the match.
The match was not impressive.
It was fine, but it was
8 hours.
You know what's funny about this is I remember when I was a kid, I would watch these Survivor Series matches, and I thought they were just a pile of shit. Because, you know, you'd have like the match would begin and then someone would be pinned by like a lariat in 2 minutes. And then someone else would be pinned by whatever, some stupid move in 3 minutes. And it's like, God, these people never get pinned in 3 minutes in normal matches. But man, in the Survivor Series, you hit anybody with any bullshit move and they get pinned. I don't know where I got that idea. Because this fucking match went 27 minutes.
Yeah.
It went, I mean, it was the best thing on the show. That's not saying much.
No. Well,
and it went
maybe by the end, yeah.
It went on and on and on and on and on. The 3 main Survivor Series matches all got 30 minutes, basically, which was too fucking long.
So we have because it went so long, we can talk about some of these falls in detail. So one of the things we're watching that I've been watching, I don't know if looking forward to is the right word, but just trying to. It's the rise of Diesel. It was it came out of nowhere. In the long run, it was not successful, but he was a top guy from then on, starting in 1994, which is only a few months away. And it really starts in the Royal Rumble when they give him the big monster. He's alone in the ring, throwing guys out one by one push. And here we are, 2 months before the Survivor Series. He's just a tall fella. He's just in there doing stuff, and I think Giant Gonzalez is gone now, so he's the tallest guy on the roster, but Savage out of nowhere just picks him up and body slams like it's nothing. And I know he's skinny here, and he's going to get bigger. He's a beanpole, but one of the ways you protect your Giants is not letting them get slammed. But Savage says, nope, I'm slamming you. And I'm sure at the time Diesel had no idea he was not supposed to get slammed. And even if he did, it's Macho Man. You're not in a position to tell him no. So Savage just slams him, hits him with the elbow drop, and pins him. Diesel's the first man out here. And we're 8 weeks away or whatever from the Royal Rumble when he's the biggest, scariest guy on the show. So now it's 4-on-3. In comes Erwin R. Shyster, wrestler extraordinaire, as Vince calls him. There is a long heat segment. Sets up another Randy Savage hot tag. He is beating up IRS when a Crush comes out to distract him. Randy Savage is distracted. IRS schoolboys him and pins him. And Savage is upset at first, but then figures, oh, well, I'm out now. I'm free to go tackle Crush. So he does. This makes it 3-on-3. We've been watching Vince McMahon get guys' names wrong in tag matches for weeks now with the jobbers.
Months.
Adam Bomb is in there wearing neon green. And Vince says, there's Diesel running wild. So Vince is bored, not paying attention. Razor, it was funny because Rick Martel is in the ring beating up something, didn't matter. Razor gets a hot tag, and Rick Martel, rather than get up to feed the hot tag, scurries over to the corner to tag in IRS so he can feed the hot tag. So IRS does, and Razor pins him with a Razor's Edge. It's 3-on-2, but then a huge melee breaks out. IRS, who has been eliminated, hits Razor with the briefcase. Razor can't get up. He is counted out. I assume this sets up IRS as a challenger somehow. It's 2-on-2 now. Okay, this part, yes. Rick Martel and the 1-2-3 Kid was fucking great. That part was awesome. That's true. They're working over Kid. The heels are. And Jannetty gets the hot tag on Rick Martel, who is the one guy carrying this entire match. And Kid gets a hot tag and pins Martel with a sunset flip. So it's 2-on-1 for about 5 seconds because Adam Bomb charges in and Jannetty pins him with a sunset flip. So the match is over. Jannetty and Kid are your sole survivors. It went a half damn hour. And
it went too long, but man, the finish was great. Yeah. It was a great finish.
Once it got down to 2-on-2, actually, it was pretty good.
And I will say
4 minutes,
that,
4 minutes.
It was not like a great match, but man, I had so much more fun watching this than the stuff nowadays because they don't do the camera cuts. Yeah. And you can actually watch the action. You can actually watch the guys work. Like, you can actually see who's good, who's really good, who's great, as opposed to now where it's just a cut, and you determine if someone's good or not by listening to the crowd, and like if they do flips. But here, you could actually watch guys work and watch them do stuff. And the other thing of note is Vince is talking about Razor Ramon, and he goes, "This Razor Ramon's probably going to be the wrestler of the year in WWF." And I was like, he's not a champion, shouldn't be Yokozuna. But anyway, I've been asking before, why, when you had Razor Ramon, who was tall, muscular, good-looking dude.
Great hair.
Good worker. Yeah, great hair. Very charismatic. And you chose Diesel, who at this point, literally the only thing that Diesel had over Razor Ramon was inches in height. That's it. That's the only thing he had. And so I was thinking, like, man, did he have drug issues or get suspended or like, was all this starting this early? And then you go through and you look at his next, 6, 8, 10 months. And it's like nothing goes wrong. And he even goes on to have that 5-star ladder match with Shawn at WrestleMania. It's like, why did Vince not go with Razor? Why did he go with Diesel? I have no answer, except he was tall.
Yep. That'd be my guess. That was it. Also, to be fair to Vince, when you were talking about him screwing up his names, he was just indicted. And
that's true.
He was going through some serious stuff right now. And also the week of that Survivor Series, it was when Hogan was named as the, in the New York Daily News, as the government witness. So he had a bunch of stuff going on.
Sean's been reading his back issues.
I have.
Yes, observer back issues. He's actually doing more homework than I have.
Vince must have been on his fucking phone on the internet, looking up shit on Twitter.
Impressive.
No? Yeah.
Let's see. Todd Pettengill interviews Shawn Michaels, who says he should be the superstar of the year, and he is still the rightful Intercontinental Champion. So Pettengill asks him about bad feelings with Bret Hart after last year's Survivor Series. Foreshadowing.
Yeah. I don't even know if you can call it foreshadowing when it's that blatant.
Ray Combs interviews, yes, the Family Feud guy, interviews the Hart brothers.
This guy did a good job. He didn't look like he was reading off a teleprompter. He looked like they clued him in.
Yeah.
And he knew enough to pull it off like he knew what was going on.
He's a professional entertainer guy. Yeah. So Brett says Shawn made a big mistake dragging the mom and dad's name into this. They're going to pay big time. Owen promises Shawn and the Knights are going down. Keith promises there will be a massive heart attack. Bruce is just standing there with his sunglasses on like the Terminator the whole time. Eventually, he promises that everyone in the Hart family will be there. They go back to Shawn. He's laughing this all off. He's not concerned with the Harts. He threatens... I'm not making this up. He threatens to bury his own parents alive if they ever get as ugly as Stu and Helen Hart.
Wow.
He is not worried about wrestling a fireman and a school teacher, and he threatens to hit Stu and make him even uglier. Then Ray Combs comes down to the ring. And he's got jokes. First, he introduces the Hart family as Helen and Georgia and Martha and Ross and Wayne, and then they got a bit. I'm sure they wrote for him. And he starts doing Family Feud jokes. Shawn Michaels was on my show. He says, we asked him, name a state with the newest name, and he said, Nebraska. This place is already pissed off. That's booing the hell out of him. He doesn't know what's going on, Ray Combs does. He's doing his best to get through this. 100 people said Shawn Michaels' mother is so scary that Bigfoot takes pictures of her. This goes on and on and on. By the end of this, Vince and Bobby have given up. They're just talking over him. They're not even letting his jokes come out. They're just doing their own thing. This was awful. So it's Shawn Michaels and the Knights, because it was going to be the King and his Knights, but Jerry Lawler, as they said, had legal issues. And Shawn, I know you did the homework. Would you like to reveal the identity of the Black Knight, the Blue Knight, and the Red Knight?
Yes. The Knights were...
I have it written down here, Shawn. Would you like me to take over?
Jeff Gaylord, Greg Valentine, and Barry Horowitz.
Correct.
Yes.
You know what's funny, too, is...
I had one additional thing, though.
Yes.
One of the Knights was supposed to be someone else who was in the building, and he decided he did not want to be the Red Knight and had left before the show. And according to Dave Meltzer, that man, Terry Funk.
Wow. Why the fuck would he care? This Greg Valentine. God damn. It's like, you dress this fucker from head to toe, and it's obviously Greg Valentine. Like, just... Here's my thoughts on this match. So long story short, they went 30 minutes. This was way too long. Okay. But they get rid of the Black Knight and the Blue Knight and the Red Knight. And so it's Shawn Michaels against all four members of the Hart family. Okay. And, I don't think they were having serious problems yet. Okay. But man, you think about the where Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart are heading, and it is so amazing to watch Shawn Michaels in this match. Like, this guy worked his ass off. He's fucking bumping for everybody. He's fucking pouring sweat. He's running high spots with everybody. He's got no partners. He sold for the Hart family. Like, they were...
fireman and the school teacher.
They were the fucking most famous family ever in the history of pro wrestling anywhere on this fucking planet, dating back to the fucking Greek, Greco... You know what I'm saying? Man, he put these guys over.
Ancient Greece.
I was just like, fuck me. If I had a match with my family against Shawn Michaels and he sold like this, I'd have never had a problem with the guy. Like... Dude, he could have done whatever he wanted to. I was like, God, look at this guy. And man, he was on fire in this match. And keep in mind, he'd been gone. That's the other thing. So I don't know if this was his first match back, but he was back, and it was just like my other favorite Shawn Michaels match. When it was him and Austin versus Bulldog and Owen. They had a Raw match. And I don't know if it was right after he'd lost his smile or whatever, but he'd been out forever. And he comes back his first fucking match after months. He was unbelievable. and his cardio is out of this world. I was absolutely blown away by Shawn Michaels. Can't say the same for the whole Hart family, but Bret was great. And then, of course, the big story is that it's 4-on-1 against Shawn Michaels. And Owen and Bret bonk into each other, and Owen gets pinned. And he's fucking furious. And, of course, Shawn Michaels in his take, he's had enough, and he walks out. And I was like, oh, my God. I sat for fucking 30 minutes, and this bloke walks out. I was furious. But then we had the big Hart family split, and Helen's crying, and, Stu's stone-faced like he always is, and, yeah, this was not like, I cannot recommend you watch this match, really, unless you're like a worker and you just want to see how unbelievably awesome Shawn Michaels was in 1993, but I was very impressed with this guy.
So, Shawn and Bret and Owen are all great, obviously, duh. Keith and Bruce and Barry Horowitz and Greg Valentine at this point, it is 1993. They're all good. The Black Knight sucks. Jeff Gaylord sucks. And so they're doing this match. And the thing about Keith and Bruce is that they're definitely not bad, but they're very, very boring. There's a reason they got into teaching and firefighting instead of pro wrestling. They're not as good at it as Owen and Bret are. And so they're doing stuff. And the first fall alone is like at least 10 minutes. And I'm watching this guy teach, and I watch teachers. A lot of teachers. I had a lot of teachers more exciting than Keith Hart, actually. So it goes on and on. Even when Bret tags in, I'm like, it's the Black Knight. Just pin the Black Knight. Finally, Owen gets in there. He pins the Black Knight with a missile dropkick. Ray Combs thinks the match is over. He's very excited. They have to calm him down, tell him how Survivor Series works. So it's 4-3 now. And now I'm watching Keith Hart battle the Red Knight. And now we have the heat on Keith Hart. This goes on for a long time. Valentine hits a chop. Ray Combs, not making this up. Ray Combs called Greg Valentine's chop a weenie slap. That's the words he used. So this thing goes on for an hour. This show, the Survivor Series show was an hour old by the second fall of this match. I'm like, oh my God, something happened. Somebody pin somebody with anything, weenie slap some fucker and pin him, I wrote. Eventually, Shawn misses a rocket launcher. Bret tags in, Shawn tags out, and so Bret taps out the Red Knight with a sharpshooter. Now it is 4-on-2. I'm convinced this match started in 1993 and was still going in 2022. Bret's team is up 4-2. They have the heat. And now Shawn has a chin lock on Bret. I was begging for Vince to stand up and say, ring the bell, ring the fucking bell. He was too late with that. Should have done this in 1993. This goes on for about 9 days. As Shawn is fleeing Owen, he gets decked by Stu, and Owen hits a Pescado, and Owen taps out the Blue Knight with a sharpshooter. The Blue Knight submits. Now it's 4-on-1. Now this fall was fine. Actually, this fall was awesome because of Shawn Michaels being Shawn Michaels, and it had a point to everything. Because Shawn's getting his ass kicked by all four Harts. Stu's out there running wild. Stu's got the Boston Bruins jacket on, and Bobby Heenan points out there's a picture of Helen on Stu's jacket. That was the best part of the entire match. So here's the key. Shawn's in there with Bret. And Bret's like going for the sharpshooter, I think, but Shawn rakes his eyes, and Shawn backs up, and Owen blind tags himself in. So Bret goes to the apron to the wrong corner, and he can't see. He's fucking with his eyes. And as he's trying to fix his vision and figure out where he's supposed to be, he goes back to his own corner where he's supposed to be, and that's when Owen is running the ropes and bonks into him and gets pinned. So it was Bret's fault. Owen had a legit beef. But Bret was also a victim of Shawn's dirty tactics. He wasn't trying to get in Owen's way. He made a mistake. But so that part all makes sense. You understand why Owen's upset and why he's actually in the wrong at the same time. And then they do this thing, and somewhere in here, Shawn escapes a sharpshooter, runs to the back, and is counted out. If you include the Ray Combs promo that also sucked, this went 40 minutes.
Yeah, 40 minutes,
and
dude.
that was the climax.
Yeah, a walkout.
So listen, the last few minutes were good. The stuff with Owen and Shawn and Bret was all great. And that's what all anyone remembers. But this is going to sound like a joke, but it's not a joke. 100%, without a doubt, by miles and miles and miles, the worst ever Survivor Series match with Bret Hart and Shawn Michaels in it.
Well, I'm sure that's true.
Yeah.
I mean, he only had two others, and they were great.
Yeah.
God, this Heavenly Bodies Rock and Roll Express match. for the
guys.
Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team titles. 13 minutes, 41 seconds. And the match was very good. I mean, they're all good workers. Nobody gave two fucks about this match. And I couldn't help but notice, Dave mentioned this once, and now I absolutely cannot unsee it. He goes, man, Cornette always rants and raves about the Young Bucks and all the moves they do.
Yeah.
Fuck, you watch this match with Jim Cornette's Smoky Mountain Wrestling Tag Team Championships on the line with Heavenly Bodies and Rock and Roll Express. These fuckers did so many moves.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, they did everything in this match. They're doing Frankensteiners. They're fucking every move in the book. And then finally, the Heavenly Bodies, I don't even know what they got the win with. There was like 5 million moves. I was like, the fucking irony. God.
It is amazing. You watch this, and it's plain as day. The Young Bucks have watched a lot of Rock and Roll Express and Heavenly Bodies and Midnight Express matches. They do a lot of this stuff, and they do it very well. So, near the finish, there's the hot tag to Robert Gibson, of course.
Oh, the point is, Jim Cornette, of all people, yelling about other people doing too many moves.
Well, it's possible that Jim Cornette is a little bit of a hypocrite. Just a little bit. So, this came, I don't know why. I do follow Jim Cornette on Twitter. Well, I don't know why he's funny. But somebody brought this finish up randomly like a month or two ago. And there's a point where the Rock and Roll Express are running wild, and they hit the double drop kick, which is their finish, and they go for the cover.
Yes.
And the ref is supposed to be distracted. And Jim Cornette is trying with all his heart. He's screaming. He is lunging over the ropes to grab the ref. And this ref must do his job. And so I think it was Joy Morella. It was not a Smoky Mountain referee. It was a WWF referee. But because he flat out refuses to be distracted, he drops down to count, and Dr. Tom has to kick out of the double dropkick, which was not the plan. But the ref would not be distracted. He must be a good official and enforce the rules. And so somewhere in here, the Heavenly Bodies hit a tennis racket shot. Actually, it was impressive because, one Rock and Roll Express is making a cover, and Jimmy Del Rey goes to the top rope, and Cornette has to toss the racket from the floor, and Del Rey catches it while standing on the top rope, and then jumps down and hit the thing. So that was that. It was really good. There was also controversy because the Smoky Mountain, the Heavenly Bodies threw one of the guys over the top rope, which would be a disqualification in Smoky Mountain, but this is a World Wrestling Federation show. Now, my opinion, this is a Smoky Mountain Wrestling Championship match. I think that means Smoky Mountain rules should apply.
Well, I mean, it's exactly what AEW does with Ring of Honor. If there's a pure rules match, it's fucking pure rules.
Yes.
Not the AEW rules.
So, was it a good tag team match? Yes, but man, I've seen a lot of Rock and Roll Express tag team matches, and the majority are better than this.
Yeah.
You do not need to go out of your way to see this one. Oh, God. Bam Bam Bigelow.
Was it that bad?
Dave gave it a dud.
I mean, it wasn't worse than it.
I was searching for anything positive to say. The match is Bam Bam Bigelow and Bastion Booger versus 4 Doinks, which turns out to be Bushwhacker Doinks and Doinks on a mission. So
I got something negative to say if you want it.
I have much negatives. I have so much negative to say.
But what about the match?
Well, here's the thing. This is the only takeaway I have from this match, okay? God bless Bastion Booger, the late Bastion Booger, may he rest in peace. But as God is my witness, I have never, and I'm not even talking about in the big time, I'm talking anywhere in my life, I have never seen a wrestler do less than Bastion Booger. This guy doesn't do anything. Anything. And it's funny because, listen, you're a lazy guy, Vince.
True.
You know what I'm saying?
Oh, I'm with you.
And listen, I'd like to be a lazy guy. It's hard. But even a lazy guy like you, Vince, you have a little bit of drive. You know what I'm saying?
How dare you? Take that back.
Well, you haven't lost this job somehow.
Yeah.
You still work for Football Outsiders, right?
I was never as fat as Bastion Booger.
But no, my point is, as lazy as you are, okay, you get hired to do this job, and you show up and talk.
Right.
You watch the shows.
Yes.
Okay? You don't do much else, but you do that.
Yes, correct.
The bare minimum.
Yeah.
Okay. To keep your job.
Right.
I don't know. I've never read your Football Outsider stuff. I don't know shit about football, but I presume that you do, at minimum, the bare minimum.
I do a lot more than that, actually.
Maybe a little more. But
I do a lot more than that.
You're inherently lazy, right?
Yes, that's true. Yes.
This fucking Bastion Booger, like, there's no way he was making all that much money wrestling on the indies, okay? He gets hired by WWE. He gets hired by Vince McMahon. He has the potential to make a lot of money. He proceeds to put forth no effort whatsoever. Whatsoever. Vinny, I'm serious. Name another guy that you have seen in this business expel less effort to be a wrestler than Bastion Booger. Name one. Don't say Stoney Edwards. He carried you in your first match.
He sure did.
I mean...
Actually, no, he laid on me.
Well, he
opposite.
did.
I supported his weight.
But I mean, fuck, name one guy that you've ever seen. Indies, like, there isn't one.
I was going to say Giant Gonzalez.
No.
Even he would at least go...
Absolutely not. He tried. He was horrible, but he went in there and he tried.
I'm going to throw this out there, but is it possible that this slovenly act is his character? Like, he was told to do as less as possible.
But even if you told somebody to do as little as possible, they would do 5 times more than Bastion Booger did in this match. When he fucking stood there, I still can't believe I saw this with my own eyes. He stands there over a doink. I know it doesn't matter who. And he's going to do to the back cave, which is you fall on your knees and you sit on their face and pin them. So he does his little dance, which I can't even believe he moved, and he falls to his knees. And I'm like, my God, he's going to pin a fucking doink. Like, God, whoever that doink is needs a new job after this. But Booger gets up. Okay? So then he wants to eat a banana or something. And I'm not making any of this up. So he goes to eat a banana, and the other guy puts another banana on his head. So he walks over, and he stands over the bushwhacker again. And he starts to do his dance. And the bushwhacker sits up. And Bastion Booger goes from a standing position to a kneeling position and begins to sell. Sell what? What in the fuck was he selling?
He was obviously lightheaded from the elevation change.
Fuck me. Dude, he fucking goes from standing to his knees and then, like, grabs his hamstrings. Oh, my hamstrings. I'm like, fuck, I'm done. I can't. That was what broke me, Vinny. Nothing else in this match. That is what broke me.
Nothing else in this
Nothing. The rest of it was just a bad comedy match. Guy slips on a banana peel, gets pinned. Who gives a fuck?
Because
it's a bunch of clowns.
Right. They couldn't even do a literal banana peel spot right. It was horrible comedy is the point.
God.
So it's Bushwhacker, Doinks, and Doinks in a mission. All right. Positive thing. I think I have 2 positive things to say about this match. Positive thing number 1. Mom has been around now for 2-3 months. It's been 3 or 4 times. And they've been improving, but they're still... Mabel is still just a great big man who, other than waving his arms around, doesn't seem to have a lot of character.
That was an excellent description.
Thank you.
A great big man.
Well, he is.
Thank you, Vinny.
God damn it. Well, he comes out here. He's got
Bastion Booger was a great big man. They all were.
Booger had way more character than Mabel had up to this point. Way more character.
Well, he had a character.
Yeah. Mabel came out and was just a great big man. There was nothing else to it.
He rapped.
No, he didn't. He
danced.
rapped.
Yeah.
I tell you, he waved his hands back and forth.
Yeah, he waved his hands in the air like he didn't care.
He didn't care. He very clearly did not care.
No, he cared way more than Booger.
He comes out here and he's got the Doink face paint on and the big green afro wig. You've never seen Mabel so happy and having so much fun. He never should have been King Mabel. He should have stayed Mabel the Jester forever. He was having a ball. So they get in this match, and they start to wrestle, and for some reason, so it's Bastion Booger and the Headshrinkers, and they can't stop eating. And it's Thanksgiving, so they got turkey out there, and there's turkey parts everywhere.
Gross.
And well, it's cooked at least. It wasn't like when Terry...
Still a dead body in the ring.
When Terry Funk hit Dustin Rhodes with a raw chicken, that was much grosser.
God.
But anyway, the Headshrinkers decide to distract their own partner with food. And so their own partner is trying to get their food from them. And this results in the Doink Whackers biting his ass and stomping on his feet. And then Samu, the head shrinker, tags in. They trick him into biting water balloons. And one of the balloons, I guess, has water in it. And much like you, Brian, he is allergic to water. And so he is pinned. There you go. So it's 4-on-3. They're working over one of the Doink Whackers.
Been in the Brianisms.
Working over one of the Doink Whackers. Booger hits the Batcave move.
You said Doink Whackers, Booger, and Batcave. All in the span of like 3 seconds.
Yes. So he hits the move the first time, but instead of making a cover...
I just recapped this spot.
I know, but you missed the point, Brian. He gets back up because his own partners are distracting him with food again.
I said that. A banana.
Again is the point you're missing.
He needed to eat a banana.
He was distracted twice.
Well, of course. It's stupid.
So he gets his banana. He misses his Batcave. That's what happened.
He got his banana and missed the Batcave?
That's what happened. And
was he aiming his banana at his own Batcave?
The
God.
The Doink Whackers rammed him. That is true.
I hate this match.
I told you. Mabel leg drops him. All four Doinks smother Bastion Booger and pin him, and Booger leaves, and he still has a banana in his mouth. It's 4-on-2.
There's more?
Yeah. So one of the Doink Whackers is outsmarted by the Jungle Savage Headshrinker, who lures him in with food and then kicks him in the gut. Mo Doink then brings his scooter into the ring and rides it around in circles, leading to nothing. The crowd hates this match. We mentioned that. The crowd hates this match. They're chanting, "We want Doink." We want Doink is what they wanted to see, rather than this match. All right, here's the banana peel spot, all right? All right. So, I think it's Fatu. Fatu's in there with one of the Doinks, and they got to do a banana peel spot. How easy would it be for it to be? You give a Doink Whacker banana, he eats it and drops the peel, and the head shrinker runs at him, slips and falls. That's not what happened. Fatu goes to the corner, picks up a banana peel, throws it into the middle of the ring, then goes up top to hit a splash. He hits a top rope splash. But rather than making a cover, he stops to eat more food. The Doinks bring in an empty bucket. He's terrified of it. If you watch Fatu while he's sitting up, it's not like he runs and steps on the banana peel and falls on his back. He looks behind him. He plants his foot on the peel to make sure it's there. And then he gets hit one time and his feet go flying out and he gets pinned down. Here I wrote, this is the worst match I ever saw. Now, once it's down to 4-on-1.
We're still talking about this match.
And you have a pissed off, furious Bam Bam Bigelow running wild and cleaning house. That part got a little good. And you had Big Man Bam Bam versus Mabel, a great big man. That part was good. The big man versus big man stuff was good. Eventually, they dump a bucket of water on Luna. Bam Bam is distracted. He gets it with a double avalanche and a splash in a dog pile. Vince calls the whole thing a cartoon. He is not wrong. This was the worst match on what has been an awful show.
Well, thank God that review is over, because that went longer than the fucking match itself at 10 minutes and 58 seconds.
And it was better.
Let's get to this fucking main event.
Doink shows up and calls Bam Bam Match Head and Flame Brain. This died a terrible death.
The All-Americans, Lex Luger, the Steiners, and the Undertaker against Crush, Jacques, Ludwig Borga, and Yokozuna. You know what I learned watching this match?
Is it about Ludwig Borga?
It was about Lex Luger.
No.
Vince was right. God. Dude, God bless the guy. But you know how many matches I've seen where, the crowd maybe isn't into it or whatever, and the guy dives and bam, he makes a hot tag, and the other guy starts running wild, and the crowd's like, I don't give a shit. And we mentioned it was a cold tag. How many times have I talked about that?
Sure.
Well, that's usually because the guy gets a hot tag, and while he's running wild, as noted, nobody cares. Luger got the fucking lamest hot tag I ever saw in my life in this match. He's fucking standing... I don't even know who tagged him.
I think... Oh, yeah.
He's standing on the apron, and he's just putting his hand out, and some guy who's gotten his ass kicked for God only knows how long in this 30-minute match, he makes a tag, and this was the lamest hot tag. Luger, he like steps into the ring and just stops.
Well, okay. In Lex's defense,
please,
he steps to the ring and stops because the Quebecer, as Vince called him, is already down on the mat.
Pick him up!
It was like Samito. He's a house of fire with no
Cover
one to hit.
him! Fuck! He just stepped into the ring and stopped. I was like, bro,
No
you
running
gotta be
forearm
fucking
of the guy
kidding
on the
me.
ground.
And, by the end, he got a little bit of life back into him. And, he won. Pinned Borga with his illegal forearm. Again, this fucking cheater. But, man, there was nothing in this match where when it was over, I thought, man, let's put the belt on this guy. Let's have this guy win the Rumble and go on to WrestleMania. None of that. They fucked up. I knew they fucked up at SummerSlam 93. And we watched SummerSlam 93, and it was clear they fucked up. They fucked up way bigger. Because this guy was done after that. Like, I don't know if they told him he was going to win at Mania, and if he just was like, he had it in his mind he was gonna, so who gives a fuck? Or maybe they didn't tell him and he was just like over it. I don't know, but he has been useless since SummerSlam 93. Useless.
All right, we've gone for a long time. Let's see. The first pin is Rick Steiner goes for a crossbody on Ludwig Borga. And I think Shawn was talking about this in the way over. But essentially, the crossbody went horribly awry. And so even though I think Ludwig was supposed to counter it and slam him or roll through it.
I think it was supposed to power slam him out of midair.
Yeah, but what happened was
Rick fell down.
Rick hit a crossbody and then just rolled over and Ludwig pinned him. And Rick said, I gotta start selling my knee, man. To cover up for this somehow, because he knew that sucked. So it's 4-on-3 for a while. My favorite thing about this match is actually the Undertaker before he tags in, because he's a dead guy. And so he doesn't even tag in until like the last fall. He's just on the apron the entire time. But he's not cheerleading. He's not resting in the ropes. He's standing there with his fists at his side, just being a dead man. A great big dead man. And he did that the whole time. The stuff with Scott Steiner and Crush was actually really great. Two big bosses toss each other around. Eventually, Savage appears. Crush goes to fight him, gets countered out. This makes it 3-on-3. This is the fall where Lex gets the hot tag against the Quebecer, who's already down. Eventually pins him with an elbow. Now it's 3-on-2.
That's also when the comment was made about Ludwig Borga, that he was the wrestler of the 90s.
Yeah.
In 1993.
Yes.
Yeah. Also, somewhere in here, Bobby Heenan, they're talking about how Randy Savage keeps fighting his way back in the building. He says, maybe Randy Savage is Batman. And now I got to rewatch The Dark Knight and imagine Randy Savage's voice and all of Christian Bale's dialogue.
I got something better for you.
All right.
When you get done with the show, I want you to go on YouTube and Google Antonio Inoki versus Spider-Man.
Will do.
You'll die.
Maybe you want to put Randy Savage in the Batcave.
Hey, yeah, it could be the round trip there. So Scott hits a superplex on Borga. He actually whips Yokozuna into the ropes, which I don't think anyone else ever did. But Yoko threw in the brakes and dodged the Frankensteiner, hit the leg drop and pinned him. Now,
God, I was so hoping he'd hit a Frankensteiner on Yokozuna.
Would have been awesome.
Because Yoko probably could have taken that role.
So it's 2-on-2 now, and Alexa's double teamed for a while, and finally, for the first time in the match, the Undertaker tags in. People go crazy. He does a zombie bit, gets knocked down, gets back up again. He takes one bonsai drop from Yokozuna, but when Yoko tries a second one, Taker sits up, and they are fighting outside. They are both countered out. So
yeah, I got to say before that point, there was another point where Luger got in with Yokozuna, and these fans did not give two fucks about these two guys squaring off. This is essentially the pay-per-view rematch from SummerSlam.
Yep.
And they get in the ring together, and the crowd's like,
No.
Oh, fuck.
Window closed.
Yeah, what are these guys going to do? Get counted out?
Yeah.
And then they were.
So it's down to 1-on-1, Ludwig Borga versus Lex Luger. Why didn't you know how Ludwig Borga's from Finland? They should have called his final maneuver the finisher, or the finish. He's a Finn.
Horrible, Vinny. Horrible. But what I did like, this actually was not too bad when these two were in together. The fans did care about this.
It was Raw main event level.
But man, Luger's making this comeback, and it's the comeback where I'll just keep whipping you into the ropes and hitting a move.
Yep.
And one of them, I think I don't know what he did, but he hit Ludwig Borga in the belly, and Borga took a running back bump after he being hit in the belly.
Yes.
So fucking hilarious.
Watching Ludwig Borga run the ropes will never not be funny.
Yeah. And the funny thing is, like, he's not really that good, but he's way better than I remember. And some of his stuff doesn't look good, like that back bump off a shot to the stomach.
Yeah.
But in general, like, he's competent. And the fans, like, they buy him. I guess that's the most important.
He has a presence and an aura.
Yes. They buy his shit.
He's never Tony Holm. It's always Ludwig Borga in there.
Yes.
He maintains his character well. And he's a big, scary guy. And for the most part, they don't have him do anything he can't do. So it's not like these are 0-star matches or duds or negative stars or anything. They're merely bad and boring. But they need to do a referee distraction spot for the finish here. And Cornette is not taking any chances. He brings Johnny Polo with him. They both jump up at the apron. They're shouting at the top of their lungs. They hog-tie this referee. They are going to distract him. And this lets Mr. Fuji give the salt bucket to Ludwig. And we get a near fall off of that. Then Lex yankees up. We get Ludwig running the ropes, always funny. And eventually Lex hits a leapfrog and the metal elbow and he wins. I thought, okay.
He what?
He leapfrog.
He yankied up?
Yeah, he's a Yankee. Yankee Doodle Dandy. He Americaned up.
I have never heard anyone call Lex Luger a Yankee.
He's got the Stars and Stripes on there.
He's an American.
He's a patriot.
An all-American.
He patrioted up.
That's the name of the damn team.
He all-Americaned up.
Yes.
Call it what you will.
But he did do a leapfrog. That was weird.
And he hits the metal elbow and wins. And by the end, I was like, he gets the win. And the place was crazy. I'm like, all right, this was a bad show. But the babyface won in the end. That match was okay. This is not the worst show I ever saw. And then it starts to snow. And made me think, Vinny, what do you mean snow? I mean, it started to fucking snow. Snow began to fall. And Santa Claus came out. And the crowd had been into Lex. They were into Lex for this finish. And as soon as he's in there with fucking Santa playing in the snow, like, what the fuck are we watching?
You're watching Americana, Vinny.
You are watching
the
1993
All-Americans won.
WWF
Fucking
cartoon
Thanksgiving
wrestling.
is over. It's time for Christmas season. Here comes this jolly old elf.
Shows like this are what led to ECW starting.
Well.
Yes.
You were also watching Heenan's last pay-per-view.
Oh.
I don't blame him. I'd have quit too.
Well, that was Survivor Series. I'm not happy we watched it.
No.
I don't know whose idea it was, but I'm mad. Well, I guess next week it'll be what? Raw 41? Is that on the network?
Should be.
Do we even know?
I don't know.
I feel like there's something weird